this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Oi, oi, oi.
Well, she
Oi,
tried.
oi,
At
oi.
least, she.
There's no romance. What's the point? Just kidding. Maybe.
Darling,
Yo, it's Ann, aka Antagonist. Welcome back to my channel. It's Romance Trope Thursdays, the series on my channel where I do a deep dive into a different romance trope in each video. We go over the history, the different iterations of the trope, key ingredients, criticisms, and by the end of the video, I'll give you my TV, book, and movie recommendations for the trope. Sometimes songs too. You're getting fed. Last time we covered Opposites Attract, so if you haven't seen that video, I'll have the Romance Trope Thursday playlist linked up in the cards above. What's exciting about this video is that it's coming out on the first day of February, and it just so happens to be a Thursday. February is the month of romance, and on this channel, that's what we talk about. So I'll be uploading a video every week for the month of February, not only because it's the shortest month, but because I love y'all. Anyways, let's get into this video finally. I'm going to be exploring insta love, which is going to be pretty interesting because I am kind of an insta love hater because I love a slow burn. So me and insta love usually don't mix. I understand if it concerns you that a slow burn apologist and insta love hater is doing a whole deep dive on insta love, but I think you'd be surprised. Here's my take on insta love. Let's get into it.
did my heart love till now, forswear its sight? For I ne'er saw true beauty till this night.
Insta love as a trope finds its origins in the idea of love at first sight. The concept of love at first sight originated mostly from Greek and Roman literature. At times in these pieces of literature, love at first sight was thought of and described as a form of madness or theomania, which translates to madness from the gods. The notion of love at first sight was accompanied by imagery of love arrows from the Greek god Eros and the Roman god Cupid. But it wouldn't be until 1598 that the expression love at first sight made its appearance in English literature, with Christopher Marlowe's poem, Whoever Loved That Loved Not at First Sight. The poem reads, "It lies not in our power to love or hate, for will in us is overruled by fate. When two are stripped long ere the course begin, we wish that one should lose, the other win. And one special due we affect, of two gold ingots like in each respect. The reason no man knows, let it suffice. What we behold is censured by our eyes. Where both deliberate, the love is slight. Whoever loved, that loved not at first sight." In the poem, Marlowe describes love as something fated or predetermined and not of our own choice or volition. The same theme was explored in one of Shakespeare's most popular plays, Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet as a couple are synonymous with the trope and are the most popular example of it, especially because it led to their tragic fate. One could say it was their theomania, aka madness, that led to their demise. The expression love at first sight has been used to convey romantic attraction and has been used across various cultures and languages. Now within fan culture, the expression insta-love has grown in popularity and has adopted the moniker love at first sight, which has widened its meaning and scope.
Loved you from the first moment I saw you, and you knew it.
Before we go over the classifications of insta-love, let's define the trope. The insta-love trope is best described as the phenomenon where two characters fall for each other quickly and immediately, or within a short amount of time. We have three different classifications here. The first one being love at first sight. It is probably the most popular form of insta-love, which is when two characters fall in love upon seeing each other for the first time or meeting for the first time. So my example here is Jack and Rose from Titanic. Jack was immediately mesmerized by Rose when he saw her chilling on the balcony. Wait, wasn't she like fully crying?
Stay back! Don't come any closer!
My bad. But anyways, as soon as these two meet, they embark on a whirlwind romance over the course of 2 days where they would risk it all for each other. And some did.
This girl is delusional!
Make some space, Rose. The other classification is the ticking time bomb. The ticking time bomb is the classification in which two characters fall in love under a time constraint. Essentially, because of external circumstances, two characters have to spend a short amount of time together or are under a time crunch to get to know each other, and eventually they fall in love within that short amount of time. So as an example, I have Natasha and Daniel from The Sun Is Also a Star. In both the film and novel, Natasha and Daniel only have one day to spend together because Natasha is being deported the next day, and they fall in love within that singular day. Or a really common example of the ticking time bomb classification is when two characters have to go on a journey or a quest where they're on the clock and time is running out, but they end up falling in love within that short time span, so let's say 2 or 3 days. And then the last classification is the soulmates or fated classification. This is when romantic characters share an instant and lifelong bond, as in they fit together perfectly in such a way that no one else could. Soulmates can stand alone as its own separate trope, or could be well paired with another trope. Like you could have a friends to lovers plot and have soulmates involved in that same story. But in this case, soulmates doubles as a classification under insta love. Because naturally, soulmates have to have an instant connection upon meeting. This connection can easily be conflated with love at first sight. And in many cases, love at first sight can be an element of a soulmate pairing. But the difference between soulmates and just love at first sight is that there is a form of divine intervention. There's something predestined and predetermined that continues to pull these characters together. A series of lucky or blessed events continue to occur so that these characters end up together despite how unlikely it may seem. The powers that be, universe, God, godly-like creatures, need these people to be together and orchestrate events so that they meet. If we're talking speculative fiction like fantasy, sci-fi, or paranormal, the characters are actually biologically or spiritually destined to be together, and sometimes it's as easy as touch or smell to identify that. As you may notice, some of these classifications have more to do with the feelings evoked and others with time. However, the singular concept that is required for a couple to fall under this trope is that they fall in love within a short amount of time.
What?
You are incomparable.
The key ingredients for insta-love shall be told in the form of a Shakespearean sonnet.
Bob, stay in school.
This poem is titled Love Instantly by Anne B. Laguerre. At first there will be two, brought forth to each other by conspicuous events or fate. Does it really matter where they're from or what they do? Fully drawn to each other, their union is innate. They enter a match, a dance of who might say it first. There's something there flickering in the dark. Feeling so in sync even though none of it is rehearsed. Every move they make whispers, yes, there's a spark. But the chemistry alone can't be enough. Constrained by hurdles or the clock elapsing, people left and right ready to call their bluff. How can you really be in love, the world keeps asking. They weather the storm, standing the test of time till the world discovers that they are truly, perfectly, and incandescently devoted lovers.
You can't marry a man you just met.
You can if it's true love.
Anna, what do you know about true love?
Let's dive into the criticisms of insta-love. First criticism is this love? Many people, myself included, question the validity of instantaneous love. How can two characters fall in love without really knowing each other? Wouldn't that just be lust or infatuation?
Well, yes.
Most likely. Now, in real life, I would never pretend to classify or evaluate if a couple is really in love. For example, if a couple comes up to me and tells me the story of how they met and how they knew immediately that the other was the one, and then after 3 months of dating, they get engaged, and now they're celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary and claim that it was love at first sight that brought them to where they are, can I really step in and call them liars? No, that would be doing way too much. But this criticism and questioning of the validity of the trope in fiction is completely valid because we have no proof of success. And as an audience to a love story, feeling entitled to understanding and believing the love is the bare minimum. And in many cases of insta-love, especially when it is poorly executed, audience fail to see why a couple is in love with each other and will tend to question if it really is love in the first place. Many times the sweeping declarations of love that characters make after only knowing each other for hours or minutes can feel unearned because we don't feel that they've spent enough meaningful time together or truly know the other person to be in love. The second criticism of the trope is that it is boring. Even if we buy into the love that the characters have shown us, it would seem that two characters who liked each other immediately and have said so have already completed their love story. If two characters already love each other and know it, it can immediately break any romantic tension in the story, and the obstacles keeping them apart can appear contrived, making things stale and kind of boring. The last criticism of the trope that we'll be exploring is that it is overused. Insta love is actually kind of everywhere. I'll elaborate more on that in the next section. As a person who writes myself, I understand that it is one of the simplest and easy ways to get two characters together. Sometimes it's used as a band-aid to substitute actual character growth or romantic progression, especially with a lot of male characters and heroes who often fall in love with their female protagonists immediately upon meeting them.
I hope to see you again, miss.
And I you.
If you didn't know or realize, insta-love is like the grandpa of romance. The foundation, the formula, the simple rule, and it is everywhere. I've been trying to remain impartial in this video because I want to give insta-love its fair treatment just like any other trope. And I am certainly not the only one to express disdain for the trope. People often complain saying it's overused, overdone, unrealistic, boring, and just have a lot of vitriol for the trope. But I think this trope is the sneakiest of them all. Because girls, we have been duped, bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray. Because much like everyone else, I am a victim of romanticization, repackaging, marketing, and I guess good storytelling. I didn't understand until I started scripting this video how much insta-love permeates itself in every love story I've ever read or seen. And this means that I can't hate it as much as I say I do. It hurts. I know many of you on my channel love Kate and Anthony down, and they would be classified as enemies to lovers, but
I love you. I've loved you from the moment we raced each other in that park.
And Queen Charlotte has me in a chokehold. And look at these two.
What?
They're already in love. And what's one of my favorite movies ever made?
You were my new dream.
And you were mine.
For this video, I would have died on the hill of Rapunzel and Flynn being a slow burn because they don't fall in love until halfway through the movie. But halfway through the movie is one day. One singular day. These two were willing to die for each other after knowing each other for 2 days. And I ate it up. Ate it up. Shout out to Abby Emmons for reading me in her blog. You should definitely check it out. And as I mentioned before, especially with male heroes in heterosexual romantic pairings, the chances that he fell in love with the female protagonist first and immediately is like 99%.
Yep.
And what really annoys me is when the concept of insta-love sneaks its way into the story to cover up poor character development. Oh, you thought you were getting a enemies to lovers story that would show true complexity and character growth? Just kidding, he's been in love with her since he saw her and just can't communicate. The amount of times I've had the bait and switch with insta-love grinds my gears. But I cannot say that I hate it every time. I can't. That would be a lie. That would be a lie. A lot of the pairings I showed would be classified under hate to love. But then you find out that homeboy has been in love with her from the jump. So what is that? It's just insta-love repackaged for the girlies. You may disagree or be fighting me on this, but ask yourself these questions. Do we honestly believe that both characters have to be in love with each other immediately for it to be insta-love? Because if one character falls in love with the other character at first sight and it takes the other character more time, does that completely disqualify them from insta-love? I'm not so sure. Or what if the characters start off hating each other but then end up falling in love within the span of 2 days? Would that not also be a form of insta-love?
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Honestly, I'm not even sure how to answer those questions, which makes things extremely complicated when it comes to this trope. But all this holds to my thesis for doing these Romance Trope Thursday videos, which is that I wholeheartedly believe that at most any trope can be done well. Of course, there will always be tropes that I gravitate towards because there are higher chances of me having a good time. But I can never truly discount insta love or any other trope that annoys me at first glance, because some of my favorite ships or couples would technically fall under the category. And that's probably why the trope has stood the test of time, because well-written characters and a good love story will always be in fashion.
You see, fate can only be fate if we decide that we want it to be.
The idea of two people knowing instantly that they're meant to be together is something that people have been falling in love with for, well, centuries. So I had to really search down deep to find the appeal of the trope. And the word that I found that most properly described insta love's appeal was simplicity. We cannot deny that there's something beautiful of seeing two people meeting and instantly connecting and finding that spark and watching that magic happen in front of our eyes. Two people whose banter and conversation flows naturally, a love that is easy to perform and fall into, the romance in two people knowing quickly and immediately that they're for each other is enchanting. And just because two people know how they feel about each other quickly and immediately doesn't mean we discount the effort that they've put in to stay together, because all relationships are work. And there's a lot of romance in being unwaveringly sure and devoted to someone. On to the recommendations.
From the moment I saw you trying to go over the wall, I have loved you desperately. I cannot breathe when you are not near. I love you, Charlotte. My heart calls your name.
And just a reminder for these recommendations, I'm picking couples that I think really exemplify the trope well and that I'm also actively rooting for. So here are my recommendations. For TV shows, I'd recommend Nora and Nathan from Upload, Sean and Angela from Boy Meets World, Michael and Holly from The Office, Barry and Iris from The Flash, and George and Charlotte from Queen Charlotte. Yes, I'm crying. Yes, I am. For movies, I'd recommend Titanic, Warm Bodies, The Greatest Showman, Cinderella 2015. That movie is such a comfort watch for me, and that first meeting in the woods, peak. Hairspray, Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Crazy Stupid Love, and Love at First Sight. For books, I only have one recommendation, which is Kai and Cinder from the Lunar Chronicles. I won't lie, getting me to pick up an insta love book is very hard. And then for songs, I have two, Without You by Parachute and Enchanted by Taylor Swift. Thank you for watching this video, especially if you made it to the end. Let me know how you feel about the trope. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Have you also been bamboozled and mind blown by the fact that a lot of your favorite couples might also fall under insta love? It's okay. It's a healing place here. I won't judge. What are some of your recommendations for insta love, especially if it's a book? Because I'd like to give the trope a little bit more of a chance when it comes to literature. Happy first day of February. Tune in next week to see another video. And you should subscribe if you haven't already, because what? When you subscribe, you become 99% hotter. I don't make the rules. It's true. Ask around. You see someone hot on the streets, they're probably subscribed to me. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.